7 wonders of the ancient world, it's easy to explain why the Great Pyramid of Giza made the list. It's huge, mysterious, and most of it still standing. But what about the Library of Alexandria? Sure, it's impressive to imagine an ancient library being more impressive than the Colossus of Rhodes, a giant statue of a god that straddled the entrance to a harbor, but that statue was kind of cool. Welcome to my channel. Today we're answering a classic "what happened" question. What happened to the scrolls of the Library of Alexandria? The Library of Alexandria was founded in the 3rd century BC in Egypt at the height of its power. Under the rule of Ptolemy II, the royal librarian, Demetrius of Phalerum, had the goal of collecting all the world's knowledge into one place. With its proximity to the Nile River and Grand Harbor, Alexandria was the perfect city to serve as the capital of the known world. So when ships docked there from across the Mediterranean, they would be required to give up their books, which would then either be copied or added to the collection. So the library grew quickly. Ancient accounts say that it housed hundreds of thousands of scrolls, maybe as many as 400,000 to 700,000, covering science, literature, history, and philosophy, that made it the world's first true knowledge hub. It was also a scholar's paradise. Some of the greatest thinkers of the ancient world spent time in Alexandria, including Euclid, the mathematician, Archimedes, the inventor, and Eratosthenes, the polymath, who calculated the circumference of the earth. But if you visited Alexandria today, you wouldn't find any of those scrolls because they're lost. What happened? Well, the short answer is that it was probably a series of unfortunate events rather than a single catastrophe. The longer answer is that we're not actually sure. Historians debate whether the library ever really existed as it's described in ancient texts, whether it was totally destroyed, and when and how it happened. What we do know are the dates of 3 separate destructions. The first was in 48 BC, when Julius Caesar besieged Alexandria. According to Plutarch, one of his ships accidentally set fire to a warehouse containing 200,000 scrolls. Another account says that Caesar started the fire intentionally, after setting his own library ablaze in retaliation for having his books thrown into the sea. The fire burned for 6 days, causing massive damage to the library. The second destruction came in the 3rd century AD, when the Roman Emperor Aurelian attacked and sacked the city. How much damage he inflicted on the library is unknown. The third occurred in the 4th century AD, when the Christian decree of Theophilus outlawed paganism in Alexandria and other cities. Pagan texts were burned throughout the empire, and some say that alone or in combination with the previous fires, that was the end of the library. A fourth legend claims that in the 7th century AD, when Arab conquerors took Alexandria, someone called the Caliph Omar, though the story might be apocryphal, decided that the contents of the library were false and heretical. He ordered all the books to be burned, and only one man saved a handful by hiding them in a cave. So which texts did get lost? We'll never know for sure. But historians estimate that around 10% of surviving Greek literature was held in the library. So works by now forgotten authors, plays by Aeschylus and Sophocles, scientific texts, and the histories of several ancient cultures may have disappeared forever. Most historians agree that the library didn't go up in a single great fire, but rather that its destruction was slow and gradual over the course of several centuries. But even so, the loss is staggering. The Library of Alexandria reminds us how fragile our knowledge is and how close human progress is to being set back by war, natural disaster, or misguided zeal. In 2002, Egypt opened the Bibliotheca Alexandrina, a modern library designed to look like the ancient one. It serves as a reminder of all the wisdom humanity has lost and a tribute to the scholars who continue to explore the world around them. What are you reading this on? If it's not a library book, you might be reading it on your phone.